Alright, let's run this back a little bit. Why does audio sound off like that?
Good. The first weekend of Battlefield 6 beta is behind us. Food has lost its flavor, life has lost its meaning, and all other games, especially Code and BF 2042, are torture. Fortunately, the second weekend of the
Wait, that's how you know it's AI. He said code instead of COD. Like, what?
Phase 6 beta is about to start, so you can live again. Before that happens, today a few words about what's wrong with Battlefield 6, in my opinion. Let's start calmly with how the settings menu sucks, which Ace and Tail decide this is the best solution, and why I'd rather not know.
I'm not gonna lie, right? I kinda agree, sorta, but I kinda sorta disagree. Because at least I can easily navigate through Battlefield's menu easier than Black Ops 6. Ever since the Call of Duty HQ was implemented back in Modern Warfare 2, they made that menu so damn confusing for no reason. But I don't know. I want to hear what the rest of you got to say.
Everything is unclear, hard to read. To find an option, you sometimes have to dig through a lot of option windows, and some of them are in strange places. It's terribly tiring. It was a quiet start, now it's time to hit the bazooka. Balance. The shotgun. Yes, it needs some love. We all know that already. Deja promised to improve the balance of this weapon. Of course, they shouldn't speed up, so you don't end up having to fire multiple shots at the guys from 5 meters away. The assault class should be stripped of the requirement to carry 2 main weapons. I know perfectly well.
I personally disagree with that, only because, right? Let's just say, get into a fight, boom, you're being pushed by snipers. If you don't have any teammates that is running sniper, you can pull out a sniper yourself and combat them. Or let's just say somebody has a shotgun and they're running shotgun as their main and they're pushing you. You can pull your shotgun out and counteract that. You know what I'm saying? The person with the better trigger figure wins, but I don't know.
This was designed for Battle Royale, but it shouldn't be like that in multiplayer. The remaining gadgets, abilities, and the new ladder gadget and abilities. Commander's presence will be perfectly sufficient for this class. The RPG launchers should be calibrated, as the rocket's muzzle velocity is too high. There's no way to outmaneuver the missiles in the vehicle, which makes it easy to hit targets, even moving ones.
But that's how it's supposed to be. It's always been like that, at least in my opinion. Like, it's always been like that. I don't know. Oh, and I've even dodged rockets being in the tank too, so.
Continuing with the engineer class, this is a class that can currently equip 2 launchers. You can throw a Stinger launcher and an RPG grenade launcher on your hunched back.
Wait, I'm gonna test that out tonight. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'm gonna definitely test that out.
Personally, I think our soldier with such a load on his back should scream that his back hurts and move like a beast. But seriously, 1 launcher should be enough. You're either fighting ground vehicles or air vehicles. The sniper scope flash needs to be reduced. It looks a bit comical, like Christmas lights.
I'm not gonna lie, they ain't lying. Like, yeah, it's bad to the point to where, all right, so on Liberation Peak, right? When we was playing, I poked my head up. All I saw was at least 7 different sniper and glare scopes all across the map. And I did not dare push that. I just went back to cover like that. That was insane. But I agree.
A 50% reduction in the effect would be sufficient. The Dawn mechanic, which returned from BFA1, should be removed, or the piercing should reduce sniper accuracy. The piercing, on the other hand, should have less of an impact on our visibility, and the visual impact shouldn't be as strong. This is especially true since visibility is poor when we're outdoors and looking at interior rooms, which sometimes look like a black spot. On the other hand, when looking from indoors to outdoors, the exteriors are too bright. I don't know what happened, but this wasn't a problem in the Battlefield Labs version I played. The sniper gadgets, the tux sensor, and the respawn pod need to be reworked. In both cases,
Yeah, sometimes with the mobile respawn thing, I'll drop it down, it will just flat out disappear. It wouldn't even pop up in the map. I've noticed that quite a few times.
they're small and make very faint sounds, making them difficult to spot, target, and destroy. Sorry, snipers, but in BFE4 these elements were better and more equitable. Let's move on to the maps.
So realistically, everything was better in Battlefield 3 and 4, honestly.
There's a very dangerous exploit on the Siege of Cairo map, which offers significant advantages in conquest, especially in breaching. I hope D fixes this quickly. The breach game mode on Liberation Peak has several issues, including perverse, nasty traps at spawn points, which are a real frustration generator.
Yeah, like literally, right, when you're attacking, it's like a meat grinder, right? You got all them nasty sniper nest points, right? Then not only that, right? You have all these turns and stuff too, I believe, further down the map. It's like so narrow once you get to a certain point in the map to where when you're funneling all the troops into one spot, it's just a giant meat grinder for the snipers. I don't know. I guess that's what the vehicles are for, but put a tank in there. Don't put an armor APC or in there or IF or IV. Just a tank would be good, honestly.
Add to this the excessive number of snipers. Could we finally introduce a user limit per class? More than half the server running around with sniper rifles is excessive. Finally, don't forget about crowded and tight sectors, which hinder progress and defense. The 100-point question for you. Did you hear footsteps while playing the Battlefield 6 beta? I admit, I heard footsteps maybe once. It was when the person ran a meter past me. Footstep sounds are either non-existent or so
Yeah, you know what, now that I think about it, yeah, I really didn't hear footsteps like that either, honestly. But unless it was up close to you.
quiet they're hard to hear. In the chaos of combat, full of gunfire and explosions, this is relatively normal, but even in quiet situations, these footsteps are unfortunately inaudible, making it very easy for someone to emphasize us and sell us a side in the ribs. If DIE is going to tackle this at all, they should make sure they don't overdo the footsteps like in Call of Duty. Matchmaking requires some attention. The mechanics need to be improved. How on earth is the game matching me with non-European players? Especially since so many people played the beta and there are plenty of servers in Europe. And shooting someone with a ping well over 100 mils is like shooting ghosts. No matter how
Facts.
good the hit and net code, this creates
Facts.
strange situations with magic bullets, damage behind cover, and a strangely uneven TTK. Maybe instead of throwing players with pings of 100, 140, or even higher, give them bots, and when a player with optimal ping is found, they'll replace the bot. Simple, simple. Matchmaking also works for
I don't think it's
Kosovo
that
maps.
simple though.
It's the same problem as in 2042. I only played Iberian Offensive once, and only in King of the Hill mode. In other modes, like Breakthrough, I mostly played on the Siege of Cairo map and maybe twice on the Peak of...
You know what? Yeah, actually, he is right. They, or I should say they, because I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but honestly, right? I played on the Iberian Offensive, what, twice on Conquest? Twice or three times? I've mostly seen this map on King of the Hill, or the infantry only modes. But I just kept getting Liberation Peak and Siege of Cairo for Conquest. I always kept getting those two maps in rotation. So yeah, I do agree with him.
the Siege map. Would there be a server browser? There wouldn't be anything like that. You'd have a choice of which map to play on and see what map is next. I don't know why there's no option to select a specific mode for a given map and have matchmaking search for you. Apparently, this kind of thing is beyond D. TTK, or time to kill, and BTK, or bullets to kill, are other things DICE should review and change. For example, Bullets to kill is limited to 3 weapons. Dice should increase this value to 4, because currently, a TTK of less than 200 milliseconds is incredibly fast, making it difficult to react, let alone try to outmaneuver
It's almost as fast as Modern Warfare 1 when that first came out, honestly.
someone. At close range, in close combat, such a TTK makes perfect sense. Don't get me wrong. I also don't want to spend half a day shooting at someone like in some crappy Luther shot. I also can't help but mention the lack of an option to enable or disable crossplay on PC. Why isn't there such an option on PC, if console players can get rid of us PC players? Similarly, we, the PC master race, should have the option to play without console play, burying ourselves in 69 hours. Nice. I didn't find any such option in the options, which are like one giant maze, so it's not included. Also, dear DICE, the optimization.
What is going on with Opera GX?
The game runs better than the Battlefield Labs version I played. However, the performance still leaves a bit to be desired. I'm not even mentioning Suda on Q with the EA app version, where you had to have the overlay enabled or you'd lose a significant amount of FPS. In the game itself, the biggest drops occurred when players were close.
See, that's the problem I've
Some
had
say
with
a
the
new
shotgun when
driver
I
could
use
improve
it.
performance. This is rare these days. If I remember correctly, this happened recently with Dragon Age 2, where thanks to the driver, the game could run better, even by 500%. I wouldn't be offended if a new driver were released and performance improved. On the other hand, Nvidia has been having driver issues for the past few months. If one driver is good, the next 5 seconds will degrade performance and cause problems, so I wouldn't rely on Nvidia too much. Therefore, D needs to get involved and do something about it. And that's it. I didn't mention a few things, such as the movement issue where walking over small objects while aiming can knock you out of the air and cause weapon oscillation during ads. DAW is aware of this bug and is fixing it. Or that the weapon swinging while aiming while jumping or landing is poorly executed, as the weapon is thrown in all directions. DICE is aware of this too and is working on it.
I
also
never even
didn't say
noticed that.
anything about land and air vehicles, as I haven't played them, so I won't unnecessarily slam them. The second beta weekend will feature the same game build, but apparently some fixes are planned. Whether this will be the case and what those fixes will be remains to be seen. What are some things you don't like or dislike about Battlefield 6? What bugs have you encountered? What would you like to see changed, fixed, or removed? Feel free to share in the comments. The stage is yours, and I'm saying goodbye to you. Bye bye.
Alright, make sure you give this person a like. I mean, it was well written. I just don't like the the AI aspect of it, but it was a good video. Make sure you give this guy a like and subscribe.